So here's just a quick before shot of this room before I get into working on cleaning it up and going through things. But today's video is going to be a little walk down memory lane as I start getting into the things that are in these boxes and in these bins and things, and taking you through some of the treasures that I find. So I hope you enjoy, and welcome along on this little trip down memory lane in my junky junk room. So here I am in the back bedroom, which currently has just become a catch-all storage space because it is what it is. It's going to ultimately be my bedroom. It's the smallest bedroom in the house and probably the second smallest room in the house. And one of the reasons it's small is because former owners that did the major renovations in this house in late 70s, early 80s, they're the ones that took out all the plaster walls and drywalled everything, refinished a lot of the woodwork. But one of the other things that they did, well, they did the bathrooms, which are why the bathrooms now need to be redone, because they're 30 to 40 years old. Originally, the only bathroom in this house was the one off of this bedroom, and it did not connect to this bedroom. You had to actually go outside to go into the bathroom. Its only entrance was off of the back porch, which now the back porch is that closed-in room that I'm using kind of as a utility room that has the red wallpaper that I've partially ripped down, and it's partially enclosed right now by plywood, but eventually it will get done. And that is one of the reasons this room is not done. There's a couple reasons why this room is not, haven't touched this room. One, it's where all my stuff is stored. And I don't have a place to put this stuff currently. My back shed needs a lot of repairs and it needs emptying out. It still has remnants of the former owner's stuff in it. And I kept thinking someone from the family was going to come and get it, and they haven't. And at this point, I think it's mine to do with what I want. Some of it, like some of the garden tools and a few other things, are things that I will keep because I can use. And other things, like a bunch of Christmas decorations, I will probably donate to Salvation Army. So today, I think I have gone through these piles of stuff in here numerous times. When the movers first brought this stuff in, there was twice as much stuff as there is now, so I've made a dent in it. And it was piled in front of both windows. You couldn't really even almost get to the bathroom. And yeah, so I have gone through it a lot, but it's still, I need to get it down to a point where when I do get the shed cleaned out and repaired, that it will all fit. So I think it needs to come down by half again. Some of this is still things that will be used in the house, but not a lot of it. Some of it is stuff I don't want to store out in the shed. So I need to figure out where it's going to get stored in here, and that's going to be tricky. And then some of it, like this stuff behind me, is all like painting supplies and things. I also have 2 or 3 boxes in the front bedroom that I just left in there that I'm kind of tired of tripping over. So I'm either going to go through them. I think one of them is handbags. Do I need a whole box of handbags? Probably not. And the other one is shoes and boots that, again, do I need all of them? Probably not. But some of them are just things that I will wear in the fall and winter. You know, and gardening shoes, gardening boots and things like that I will use. And I think I'm going to bring that box in and unpack it and put it in that white cube shelf behind me for now. The other thing is that the other reason this room hasn't been touched and it's just a catch-all storage space is because of the bathroom behind me. needs to be completely gutted and redone, and I have some ideas for it. I think I've shared them on other videos. So there's really no point in getting this room nice when it's adjacent to a construction zone, future construction zone, and at least initially workers and stuff will be coming through this room. So no point in getting it all clean and pretty and painted and decorated and dressed and a bed in here whenever I find a contractor to work on that project. It'll be a work zone again. So, but I do really want to get back in here. Even though the neighbors are having their yard work done right now and you can hear the blowers and the weed trimmers and stuff, this will be a much quieter bedroom. It's on the back of the house. It doesn't get a lot of direct sunlight, so it'll be cooler to sleep in the summer. I don't have time this week to get into any real big projects, so that's why I'm setting aside the front room paint job, but I think I've made a decision on the colors. And so I think I'm just gonna putter in here and kind of go through things. And if I find things I want to share with you, I will turn the camera back on and show you, either in this video or a separate video. We'll see how that goes. I just kind of got to get a grasp of what's here and what can go and what can, I don't know, what can happen, and try to figure out spaces that things can be stored. I began to say in the other video section that I recorded that the former owners who, like 3 owners ago, who did most of the renovations in this house, one of the things that they did that affected this room, I think probably the most out of any of the rooms, is they added closets to all the bedrooms. And so that's why they took, well, it wasn't a closet, but they took out the fireplace in the green room because they needed more wall space, because they put the closet in the green room. And that took up a big open wall for beds and furniture. So they took out the fireplace to give themselves wall space on the other opposite wall, which is kind of a shame. I think I'd like to preserve as much original architecture in a house as possible, but that was done 30 or 40 years ago, so it is what it is. And then the other thing, in putting the closet in that room, I'm going to switch you around so you can see what I'm talking about here. So this room, this is obviously the door into the green room, and you can see this bumps out here. And then, well, you can't really see, can you see above there? This wall here now goes right to the window edge there. I think originally and the closet to the green room is opposite this wall. That's what this wall is built out for. So before that closet was put in, this room's wall would have gone all the way there. So there would have been an extra 3 or 4 foot of room in this room. Then they put in a closet for this room. So they built this wall out deep enough for this closet to go in. And it currently does not have doors, because the only doors it had were these folding louver doors, which are hideous, and they were falling off the tracks. And I got to figure out what to do when I redo in here, because that's a very small closet for a master bedroom, and I'm going to actually steal space back in there where there's shelves that you can't see because it's dark in there and the light doesn't work, to make my bathroom bigger. But originally this room would have gone, let me get in here, this little closet that's a linen closet, which I love. But the original wall of this bedroom would have gone all the way to this wall and this wall, because this is closet on the other side. So this bedroom originally was much bigger than it is now, but it didn't have an attachment to a bathroom, didn't have any closets. So it's kind of a shame. I mean, I don't want to lose my closets. I'm already very short on storage space in this house. So taking out any more would be a shame, or not having it would be a shame. That's why Victorians had big armoires and only, like, 2 or 3 sets of clothing. So per season. So they didn't need huge closets. And evidently they didn't store 30 years of family memorabilia like I am trying to figure out how to store. So that's kind of the architectural history of this room. And really the bedrooms and probably the kitchen are and the back room slash porch slash utility room slash whatever it is, are the ones that had the most changes done to them when this house was renovated a generation ago. So could I bring in a crew and completely return it back to its original? I could, but then I lose 3 closets, a bathroom, and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm not going to do that. All right. Yeah. Well, I haven't been working long in here, and I've already found one thing. This little plaque is hanging on the wall just on the other side of this doorway behind me when I moved in. And I was told by the real estate agent that the families decided to leave this here because they thought a single woman owning this house might need, I don't know if it was inspiration or encouragement or something, that this was something that the former owner had, and they wanted to leave it for me. I don't know if you can read this, but it says 4 things a woman should know. How to look like a girl, how to act like a lady, how to think like a man, and how to work like a dog. I appreciate the sentiment, but I think it's going to go to Goodwill. Because I'm 55 years old. I have no desire to look like a girl ever again. A badass woman? Yeah, I look like a badass woman. How to act like a lady? I do live in the South. I probably should learn how to act like a lady. Actually, I can act right when I need to. How to think like a man? I'm not a man hater, but I like the way I think, to be quite honest. And I don't think brains or intelligence or logic or humor or any of those things are determined by if I identify as a man or a woman. So we're going to leave that one alone. And how to work like a dog. Well, my dog is in lounging on his bed in the blue room, which is how he spends most of his days. If I worked like a dog, at least like my dog, I wouldn't get anything done. So yeah, I don't think most of this applies to me. It's gonna go. So I found another box of ancient goodies. And I know how a lot of people feel about antique dolls. And I don't disagree with you. I do find them a bit creepy myself. But all of the ones that I've just found have a significance to me in my life. So I'm going to share them with you, and you make your own judgments. And if you come visit me and the creepy dolls happen to be in the room that you're sleeping in and you don't want them, we'll move them. I won't make you sleep with the creepy dolls. Okay, first of all, this cradle. This is not really an antique yet, I don't think. But it is a handmade, beautiful cradle that my brother made for my oldest daughter when she was little. And he made them for all the nieces. And it's just beautiful. And I know the kind of work that he put into it. And I don't have any little girls playing baby dolls. And no use for it, except now I guess I do have a use for it. And it's just too beautiful and a family heirloom that I would never part with it. And so now I have a perfect place to put all my baby dolls. So let me show you here the different baby dolls that I have. And I used to have a little mattress pillow and blankie in there, and I don't know what happened to that. Here is my first baby doll. And actually, I think she might be my very first baby doll. Her name was Beth Ann. I don't know if she still has any kind of label. I don't think she does. But you can see that she has beautiful head of black hair. Used to have a little pink bow.
And this used to be a little curl up here with a pink bow on it. And she's a sleepy eye doll. I'm sure there's like technical names. And then she still has her original dress. She doesn't seem to have her original diaper or her original pantaloons, but she does. This was very pink, and it has faded over the 50-some years. But she was my baby doll, and I loved her. And she's kind of got a lazy eye. There we go. If you sit her up, she's not quite so lazy. She used to have beautiful black long eyelashes as well, but those have been pulled out over the years. So she is going to sit here, Beth Ann. And she even has a little thumb that she can, it doesn't stick in her mouth to suck, but anyhow. My most treasured and beloved doll, she is having a little, she is very old. That is this beautiful doll, and I don't remember her name. I want to say her name was Sarah, and maybe that's why I named my oldest daughter Sarah. But again, she has her original dress, her original braids, and her eyelashes. Now, she used to, look at the little socks and shoes. Those might have been replaced. She used to sit her on this end of the bed. And she has this beautiful little red straw hat, which again has also faded over the decades. She is much older than Beth Ann because she used to live in the upstairs bedroom at my grandmother's house in the top drawer of the dresser, and she was so beloved. She is probably from the 40s or 50s. If she was my aunt's doll, which I have to imagine she was, because I don't think she was something that grandmother bought for her granddaughters and just had at the house. I think she must have been for my aunt. And sometime when I was in college or early marriage, Grandma, all of her legs, arms and legs, all the bands inside had deteriorated, and she was kind of losing all of her limbs, which has happened again. She is very loose and wobbly. And, but Grandma had her taken to a doll hospital in Detroit or somewhere and rebuilt, and that's when I think she got her new socks and shoes and maybe her new eyelashes, because she still has her eyelashes. But that dress is original, the hat is original, and I believe the hair is original. It just got a spa day. So she's very treasured to me, and she lived in that upper bedroom dresser for all the time of my childhood that I remember. And then I had her in a china cabinet out of the sun. So she's not going to sit here under the sunny window, I don't think. But for today, where she needs some good light. So who else is in my box? I only have two more. And I wish my sisters were here because they could probably tell me the provenance of these two dolls a little bit more. This little girl, she also was at my grandmother's house. Look at that little sly corner of the eye. Side eye she's given. She gives some good side eye. I love this little red and white dress with the little embroidered, I think they're like little violets or forget-me-nots. And I'm just, okay, I don't want to show your business to the world, girlfriend. I think this little dress is handmade, maybe by my grandmother or my mother. And one of the things, the details I love about it, you don't even find this in people clothes anymore, but it was hemmed with hem tape. So, and beautifully hand hemmed for the record. And the whole dress, maybe it isn't handmade because it does have overlocking on the seams, which you would not find in a handmade dress of that era. Again, 40s or 50s, I'm guessing. If anybody knows, her hair has seen better days. She's been shoved in a box or something. I don't know. And I don't know her name or anything about her. I don't see any, oh wait, we might have a manufacturer's stamp on the back here. Let's see. Deluxe Reading Corp, Elizabeth, New Jersey, patent pending, but no years. So any doll collectors out there know anything about her, share that with me. But I believe she was also in the collection of my grandmother also had some original Barbies, and I don't know which granddaughter ended up with those, but I remember playing Barbies. And then the other one is this young lady, and again, her hair needs a little work. What does her tag say? I cannot read that. Ideal Toy Company. and some numbers that I can't read. So she's ideal toy. Again, she might be worth something. This clothing on her, I guarantee, was handmade by my mother or my grandmother. But look at the little dungarees with the pocket and the matching pocket square sewn in. That is the kind of stuff my mother and grandmother would have done for us girls, for making us doll clothes. And the denim on this probably was from an old pair of work pants of my grandfather's or my father's or something. Her arms move together. That's kind of interesting. So, little memories of my childhood. I also love, she's got little freckles. Can you see her little freckles? I don't know if you can get those in the light. She does have little freckles. She is adorable. I remember combing this one's hair and putting it up in I think we put it up in a ponytail. It also looks like it might have gotten a home perm or a home haircut at some point, but I think she always had like kind of up in here, like a ponytail with curls, but it is very natty. But it's original, and she might be newer. She might not be from maybe the 50s, but probably more likely she might have been something Grandma picked up for us girls. She's also got a little bit of side-eye, but she'd given side-eye to the other girls. So, so these little dollies, I think, are just going to sit in this handmade cradle for now, and just bring back fond memories of my childhood and some family memories. I know none of these dolls are haunted, although I do know that creepy Beth Ann doll over here in the end did give my daughter some nightmares when she was little. She's like, I hate that doll that's in the china cabinet. She creeps me out, because she does kind of have that haunted doll look. But she is from the late 60s, early 70s, so she is not, I don't think, haunted. So I shared a moment ago the, oops, this is the wrong one. Where's that other one? I already pulled it out. Well, I'll share this one. This is a little poem that my youngest daughter gave to me, I believe, for Mother's Day. Did she put anything on the back of the date? No, she did not. Mother's Day, I think she was in college, after she had left the nest, and it's called I Love You. What else? I mean, it doesn't have to say anything else. You get something from your child that says I love you, and it's a treasure already. But the fairies will tell you with lilac-scented whispers that there's no place quite like home. Well, what they won't tell you, I'm going to cry. What they won't tell you is that home isn't a place, it's a feeling, one that only time can grow. I felt it when you held me, when you wiped my tears just so. I felt it when you spanked me, which I forgive, just so that you know. And I felt it when you taught me to be unapologetically myself. And I felt it when you loved me, even though I sometimes rebelled. The truth is that I love you too, though sometimes I may deceit, and without you here, there is no home for these feelings I cannot repeat. So that is going to go find a very special spot in my home, and on my wall. It'll probably go in here eventually when this is my bedroom. Yes, there are tears and sweat running down my face right now, but that's the way life is. So she made this for me. I wish she had signed it and dated it. After we left her childhood home and moved to Tennessee. So it's a treasure. It is one of those, can I grab it on my way out of the house if there's a fire? Because if I can, I will. So now I've gotten into that part of this kind of work where I am finding bins of treasured memories. So let me share some of these treasured memories with you. So this first bin is my children's childhood, I believe. First of all is this beautiful piece of heirloom. It's an heirloom now. Christening dress. I don't know if I can get back enough that you can see it. It is long. It is white cotton lawn with sewn pin tucks and inserted lace and lace around the collar. Oh, and hand smocking. Can you see the hand smocking? Also has a little bonnet that goes with it. And I made this for my first baby girl, and both of my baby girls wore it. And if there is a grandniece or nephew, or maybe someday a grandbaby that will actually get baptized in a church, they're welcome to have it and wear it. But I'm keeping it for now. I think actually I need to put this in my cedar chest. So here's another. I'm going to try to go as chronologically as possible. This little dress, little lavender calico dress with a little white eyelet pinafore. See that? That was also made for baby Sarah. And oh, it's got little panties that go over a diaper, little diaper cover. So I made that for her, probably for her first Easter. And I don't think Emma was the right size to wear it at the right time of year. That's the problem with having an October baby and a July baby, and their sizes never quite worked out. But it was handmade by me, and it was just so sweet. Maybe I'll put that on. Well, I don't think it fits any of my baby dolls. All right, there's that. Another Easter dress. I had a hard time, although we'll get there, sewing for Christmas because of all the other things. I usually sewed a lot of gifts and made a lot of gifts for Christmas during those years. So sewing clothes for my girls was a little too tricky. But this little Easter dress, and she, oh my God, this was for Emma. And it has this little tulle overskirt, and I discovered that my old machine would do like these, they're not technically embroidery, but they were large decorative motif stitches. So I decided to go all out and embroider my tulle overskirt. And Emma loved this dress so much, and it's got, I loved it too. Probably the same pattern as the little purple dress, but in a bigger size, and then a little modifications. And she wore this dress, as you can see, if it was in the closet, she wore it, and the tulle overskirt just got snagged and got holes in it and didn't go through the laundry very well. And I see a little bit of this lace on the collar is coming off. But I remember how much she loved this dress, and what a challenge sometimes it was to get her to get dressed, especially for church on Sunday morning. And if this dress was an option, she wore it, and she wore it till it was like above. She was a long, skinny one. She still kind of is, and so she could fit into it above when it was way too short as a dress, and she still wore it. That's an old Halloween costume that's never got worn, and I'm not going to show you because it's weird. Okay, I'll show you. It's one of those like morph suits, those body suits, and it's skin colored, because my ex and I one year were going to go dress up for our Halloween party as Naked and Afraid contestants. So we were going to wear these naked body suits and then put like dirt and tattoos and stuff on us and be naked and afraid. But he got cold feet. That's not really, ironically, because I know everybody on Naked and Afraid gets cold. He decided he didn't want to be naked for our Halloween costume that year. So I think we were Mulder and Scully instead. Okay, back to the fun memories. Well, that was kind of a fun memory, but which one are we? This one. What is this? Oh, well, I think this is the first dress that Emma made herself with my assistance using a pattern. I didn't know it was still in here. And I think she did this in like junior high or high school. It's a little eyelet, and it's lined. She did a very nice job, and it was very cute on her, but I don't think she wore it for very long. But boy, we did a zipper and facings and a lot of things. Okay. Let's do Christmas next. So this wasn't Emma's first, I think this is Emma's second or third Christmas. And I made these two little jumpers. They wore like little white long sleeve t-shirts or turtlenecks under them. They're velvet. Can I back up enough? So this was Sarah's, and it's a dark green velvet with an invisible zipper on the back. Did I line it? Nope, just faced it. But you can see a hand sewed little gold sequin stars with seed beads and hand-painted a stenciled sun. So this was kind of, they wore them to church, but this was when I was really kind of starting to accept my path as a little more pagan-y. So this was my winter solstice dress for her that year, celebrating the sun. But if anybody asked, it was, you know, the star, the big star, you know. So, and then this was Emma's, and hers is a deep, deep midnight blue. And this one I call it Starry Night, or Snowflakes. So it has silver sequin stars with little blue seed beads to attach them, hand-stitched silver embroidery thread, and bugle beads, snowflakes. Yeah, I was a little extra. But, oh, look at this one. See the little snowflake trail? Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? Kind of has a, I can't get it on the camera good enough. I should go where there's better lighting. But I'm just digging them out of these boxes. You can't see it, but it turns. So again, maybe someday there will be baby girls in my family. Oh, there's one more. This dress, boy oh boy did this dress have memories. You will probably recognize what this dress is. It's a little blue gingham dress with suspender straps and white rickrack or blue rickrack at the collar and the sleeves. And I no longer have the little red glittered ruby slippers that go with it. But this was a Halloween costume. And it's got a zipper. I mean, yeah, oh my God, the Halloween costumes I used to make, and I got rid of a lot of them. Well, or they got worn to death. But this one, Emma loved this one. And she wore it as a dress. It was in the dress-up box. She would wear it to play. Oh, just the details I put in it. The bias tape trim around the skirt. I mean, geez, Beth Ann. So I need to have grandchildren, so I can make shit for them now. I don't need to have grandchildren, and I don't want to make stuff like this anymore. But she loved this. And the ruby slippers, she wore those until her feet wouldn't fit in them. And then her cousin gave her a pair of gold glittery, same little Mary Janes. She wore those until they couldn't be worn. She, talk about extra. She was extra. So, and I love her for it. But when she got her mind set on a dress or an outfit that was her favorite, you couldn't get her out of it. So those are some dresses. And let me get this bin up. Everybody's, I mean, I think a lot of us have, our children have special blankies. Emma's special blankie, much like her favorite dresses, went everywhere with her, even to college. And she still has it now, but it's in shreds and it's in a little zipper pillowcase. And it had been rebacked and resatin everything. So that one I don't have to share. This one is one that my mother-in-law made for Sarah. I'm not going to show you too details because it's got her birth date on it. It's just a panel, and then she embroidered her name and birth date on it. It wasn't, I kept it because it's got her birth date on it and her full name. But it never ended up being something particularly special. This one, my sister-in-law crocheted for one of the girls. I think Emma. I think this was Emma's. And I liked it because it was really lightweight and very pretty. And it's got a little spit up on it. Surprise, surprise. This one, same sister-in-law, Terry, crocheted for Sarah when she was a newborn. And I loved this one because Sarah was an October baby. So that whole winter, she was still in those like carrying buckets, you know, that you put the car seat carrier kind of thing. And this was the perfect size and weight to just throw over the car seat carrier and keep the wind and cold off her in a very cold winter that winter. And it's just, and it washes beautifully. What else is in here? What else? This one, I don't know the story behind this one. Let me look and see if that reminds me. Oh, there's another one of these somewhere that's similar. It's just a little, it's not just, it's beautiful. Actually, I'm gonna keep this out and hang this in the green room. This one, my mother, and it's patchworked, and I am sure that some of these are old fabrics from, you know, who knows what, but my mother made this little square doll blanket. I'm gonna go put that in the doll thingy in the other room. This one I made for Aunt Sarah. When I knit this while I was pregnant for Sarah, and it's just a simple ripple Afghan. It's nothing fancy, but again, I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl, and for some reason I thought this pastel rainbow was gender neutral enough, which I guess today it would be. Well, today it would probably be gray, but I think after all, it's a very feminine print or colorway, but I think it's pretty. And then this one, oh, this is just, again, I use the word just, and I don't mean that dismissively, but this is, I went through a stage, and I'll get those out another time, where I was rescuing quilt tops from antique stores in Illinois when I would go to antique stores and I'd find unfinished quilt tops. And my mother was was a fabulous quilter, and she always quilted by hand. And I'm a machine quilter when I quilt. And I gave her this quilt top to back and quilt for me. And so it is not her quilt. She did not make the quilt top, but she quilted it for me, backed it and quilted it and bound it for me. And it's just a really nice antique. Who knows how old? I mean, I'm going to refold it in a different way so that the creases are not forming in it. And at some point I'd like to get some kind of shelves or cabinet that I can put all my quilts on. So, okay, here's another one. And then I think I'm going to stop, because now I will be getting into more modern made quilts that I made, and that's a whole other video perhaps. But this, my sister made for me. It was a Christmas gift, and it's crazy quilted, and it's, I think it's all velvets. Yes, it is all velvets, and then hand embroidered. Isn't that beautiful? And I like to, it's going to be so perfect in my house. In this house, again, my spiral path has brought me finally around to where the things that I have held on to have special meaning and have a special, perfect place for them to be. So this holiday season, in my old Victorian house, I will be able to put this handmade, beautiful, velvet, crazy quilted, hand embroidered table topper on something, and it will look absolutely perfect. And I feel like that should not go back in this bin, but I should try to get it toward the Christmas bin. Have anything else? Again, I have some others here that are more modern, and I'll show you on another video all of the quilts that I still have that I have made. And we don't have time for that right now. But as I'm working through some of these bins and figuring out what I want to do with some of this stuff, it's been fun to go down memory lane and find some of these things. Okay, here's another one that I found that my mother made, and this again was for my oldest daughter. And it's a crib size quilt. Her nursery was painted this pretty light minty green. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? They're all little Scotty dogs and kitty cats that she pieced. And at the time, we had one dog, 2 cats, and oh, some of these have faded, bless it. But there's a story behind the Scotty dogs. Much like myself, my mother never threw anything away, especially if it was something she had made or worked on. And when I was a little girl, when I was going to kindergarten, when I was 5 years old, I have, ironically, cat hair in my mouth. My mother made me a little dress to wear to the first day of kindergarten. And it was, if I can find a photo of it, I will insert it here. I don't know if I can find that photo. The print on it was little Scotty dogs. And she made me, you had to have your name tag
with, I think, your teacher's name and your school bus, because we were country kids, we had to ride the school bus number on it. And you had to have it. Of course, my being extra on this kind of stuff is genetic. My mom made mine made mine in the shape of a Scotty dog. 25 some years later, when she wanted to make my first baby girl a quilt, what did she find? She found a template for Scotty dogs to make this quilt. And so these Scotty dogs are not pieced. They're hand appliqued, as are the little cats. They are not pieced. They are hand appliqued. And it is all hand quilted by my mother. She did machine piece, but I know she appliqued all those squares by hand. So, oh, and can you see the detail? The details are just lovely. She quilted the edge with these interlocking hearts. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just a beautiful piece of art and a piece of family heirloom. And I guess I'm the holder of it until and if my daughter wants it back. But this one is also going to be hung on the wall somewhere after I clean it and preserve it.